In light of the many questions on this topic, I decided to make this video to answer all your questions about what happens if you made a mistake during check-in, especially in the Royal Caribbean process. There they chose to ask 3 yes or no questions. And because there are people who don't read all the way to the end, and because you have to mark on both, for the first questions the answer should be yes, but for the last question the answer should be no. Well, you probably already know what happens. And if this happened to you too, don't worry, it's not a problem, and they'll let you board. But what happens if you find a mistake in another piece of information? Did you even bother to check? So everything you need to know about the cruise check-in process in the apps right after the intro. Whether you're before the check-in process or after it, whether you came to this video because you discovered a mistake in your personal details during the check-in process or not, it's worth listening to the tips in this video all the way to the end, so you'll know what to do if you encounter a similar problem in the future. And while I will be speaking specifically about a real-life example of what is currently happening to many people during the check-in process on the Royal Caribbean app, most of the things I discuss here are generally relevant to all companies and all their respective apps. So here's the thing, as passengers, you are required to check in using the app of the cruise company you are traveling with. The problem starts with the fact that many people are simply unaware that they need to check in. And even though this has been a requirement for some time, it is stated in the contract between you and the cruise company that if the check-in is not completed by the deadline before the cruise, the company has the right to deny you boarding. In practice, this is not actually enforced, but who knows when they might start enforcing it. So first of all, make sure to complete your check-in, and the earlier the better. Secondly, something else that many people don't know is that during the check-in process, it's important to verify that all the information is correct and that no mistakes have been made. While some mistakes can indeed be corrected at the service desk at the port, there are errors that could prevent you from boarding your cruise. For example, if there is a mistake in the spelling of your name as it appears in your passport, it could be a major problem and you might end up being left behind. In general, you must check all identifying details well before you arrive for your cruise. Changing a name close to the time of booking is simple. Changing a name 2 days before the cruise is complicated, and changing a name at the port right before departure is almost impossible. So double check during the check-in process that all your information is correct. Additionally, during the check-in process, you will usually be asked to upload a photo of yourself to the app. Some people encounter issues with this part, especially in the NCL app. There are still some phones where the option to take a photo doesn't work properly. In such a case, try uploading the photos through the website instead of the app. Usually this will solve the problem. In general, if you encounter an error during check-in on the app, always try switching to a desktop computer and completing the check-in by logging into your personal area on the cruise company's website. If you weren't able to upload a photo, it shouldn't prevent you from boarding the ship. In any case, they will take your photo at the port, but come prepared. I would recommend calling the cruise company and trying to get help, or at least confirmation that you won't have any problem boarding, even though the check-in process wasn't completed. And in this particular case, in recent days, during the check-in process on the Royal Caribbean app, they chose to ask questions in a way that actually requires people to read them. We're used to the fact that when there's a series of questions, the expected answer for all of them is the same, so we just select the same answer all the way through. But even though there are only 3 questions, the third one is, are you pregnant? And judging by the number of people online saying they marked that they're pregnant, you can expect a baby boom in the coming months. So if you haven't completed the check-in yet, make sure to avoid falling into this mistake. If you've already made the mistake, don't panic. It's all good, everything's fine. Even though it says you won't be able to board the cruise, there's no problem fixing this mistake at the port. And thanks to the kindness of one of my listeners, who asked to remain anonymous, I received a confirmation email from Royal Caribbean verifying this, as you can see here. So as you can see, if a pregnancy was entered during the check-in process, when of course you are not pregnant, it is recommended to try and change it on the website, and if that's not possible, it can be changed at the port. So try to make changes on the website, but in my experience, once you've entered the information and moved on to the next step, you can no longer change it, not even on the website. In summary, if it's a personal detail, such as the spelling of the name, passport number, passenger's gender, or other essential identifying information, and there is a mistake in one or more of them, it is your responsibility to ensure it is corrected before the cruise. If you made a mistake entering any information during the check-in process, such as answering a question incorrectly, you can correct it when you arrive at the port. However, I still recommend speaking with a company representative beforehand and getting confirmation about it. So if you've encountered a similar problem, I hope I've managed to put your mind at ease, and I'd appreciate it if you'd give this video a like in that case. Also give it a like even if you haven't. After all, what does it cost you? And it helps promote the video. And if you want to learn more about the world of cruises and get tips to help you save a lot and find great deals, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell. That way you won't miss any videos. And where do we go from here? You can continue to one of the following videos where you'll learn more important tips to help you get the most value out of your next cruise. So go ahead and watch one of the videos.